Well, praise the Lord, saints. This is Elder Heyman once again, or Elder Adrian Heyman. I believe that the last time I was on, I said that I was going to start a series on the amendments, on our country's amendments, starting with, of course, the first 10, which are known as the Bill of Rights. The reason why I'm going through this is because essentially I want us to be able to take what's happening today in our politics and put it into context of what our Constitution actually says. As I said before, there are two portions of our Constitution, as far as I can see, as construed. The first part deals with the Articles, which is how to set up our government itself and what rights does each branch have, the executive, the legislative, as well as the judicial. But I want to concentrate more upon the rights of the people, the rights of those that are residing in the United States. And so therefore, we're dealing with the amendments. So I believe that the authors of the Constitution, after they wrote regarding how the government was to be set up, they wanted to make sure that the people's rights were not abused or in other ways abridged. So let's go ahead and start off with the First Amendment. And of course, I'm also going to make sure that it deals with the Word of God as well. I know the Word of God is not the same thing as the Constitution. It's two different things. So we must know that as well. That the Constitution is one document. The Word of God, to me, is a higher authority. So whatever that the Constitution says, the Word of God is more. But I think if we're dealing with what Christ has said, it's probably even more that we have to do or make sure that we do than what the Constitution asks us or tells us to do. So just making sure that we have that as a backdrop. Let's go ahead and begin with the First Amendment. And I'll probably do one every day or parts of one. In this sense, and I saying parts of one because this First Amendment already has 2 or 3 areas that I can go over. I'm not going to try to exhaust them all in one setting because I'm only going to deal with this maybe 10, 15 minutes at a time. So, beginning with our First Amendment, I'll read the whole thing. It says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the rights of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So it looks like it's about 5 clauses right there. And the best way for me to really hit them is to do them one at a time. And therefore, I'm not going to exhaust this First Amendment during this particular session. I do want to bring up the point, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Let's put it that way. What it means Congress can't do it because the reason why it doesn't say executive branch can't do it and the judicial can't do it is because Congress is the only vehicle through which laws are legally made. So of course it's going to say Congress. It says Congress shall make no law. It means the executive branch can't make a law, and the judicial branch can't make a law. That goes without saying. But it specifically says Congress because it's the only legislative branch or the branch that's capable of making a law to establish a religion. Now, someone may say, well, this has nothing to do with making one religion the official religion of this country. And someone may twist it like that, But the idea here, understand the idea is essentially this, that no one in the government can dictate whichever the law, or that they can't dictate which religion to follow. Now, understand this, saints. It's not that I am an apologist for other faiths, beliefs, religious systems. I'm apostolic. I've been that way for many years. And I plan on, if the Lord should not come before I die, I plan on dying apostolic. That's what I believe. That's what my heart is for. So you're never going to sway me from this. However, we're not talking about a theocracy. If this was a theocracy, then it goes without saying. If this was Israel in the Old Testament, that was a theocracy. Even with the king, their whole main thing was Yahweh was their God, and they could not change. But this is not the Old Testament. Jesus is not reigning upon the earth right now. He's going to, but not right now. And because he's not right now, we cannot push our beliefs and faiths and make people follow what we believe. This is supposed to be, we're supposed to encourage them. We're supposed to persuade them, but persuade them with love. Not with jail time, not with threats. We're supposed to do it with love. If we look at any other places that are around, when Christianity was first began to grow, it ran into quite a few areas of opposition. Much of it from people who believe differently and whose laws begin to go through and attack the Christian faith. The things that come to mind were worshiping of emperors, worshiping of Diana, and of course the Jewish belief that essentially led to Jesus being crucified, and various people, like for instance Stephen being stoned to death, James, the brother of John, being slain with the sword. But we're not supposed to do that same thing. Just because other religions have done that, in this world you can see radical forms, I'm not saying all Muslims, but radical forms of Islam that cause the death of other faiths, radical forms of Hinduism, radical forms of other state religions, or go to various tribes, or tribes would maybe kill you because you don't believe in their pantheon of gods. But that's not what we believe, saints of God. So if we, and plus I'll go by what my pastor, Bishop Swansea, he's always saying. And whether he believed or not in terms of Republican, Democrat, he said this. He said that we cannot legislate holiness. Flat out. We can't make people believe what they don't want to believe. So trying to make Christianity the state religion is against what Christ has said. you say that, elder? That's blasphemy. No, it's not blasphemy. It's letting people choose to follow Christ. Because remember, if you read the Bible, and I'm very clear about this, the Bible has a doctrine of the minority. And if you don't believe me, read it. Israel's all the nations were chosen as his people. Various times, only a few people believed, and the rest were left to their own destruction. And it goes on and on and on throughout the Bible. Even the lesson that Christ gave, enter ye in at the straight gate. Remember this, for wide is the gate, broad is the way. It leads to destruction. Whereas with the straight gate or the narrow gate, for straight is the gate, narrow is the way, that leads to life. And few there be that find it, much less walk in it. So to put our faith as a national religion is going against what Jesus has said. And for you that hang up on that particular verse, I'm going to do a study on this verse too, that the gospel would be preached to all the world as a witness, and then shall the end come. That's not talking about an end time revival before Christ comes. It's talking about the various mechanisms that God will allow his word to be preached. And you read them in Revelation. 3 main ways. The 144,000, the 2 witnesses, and the angel that preaches the everlasting gospel. Otherwise, it's not happening. But the idea is this. As much as you may not want someone to believe a certain doctrine, you can't make them believe your doctrine. Saints, we have to be about our Father's business and persuade with love. Not by law, not by mandate, and definitely not by threatening. God bless you. May he keep you. Ponder that for a while. And if you have anything to say, please, I welcome all comments. And maybe it may take a little longer and answer some of those comments. But God bless you. I do love you all. And I am apostolic. I'll be that way until I die. God bless you in Jesus' name.